it makes the arch go the opposite direction of what you're looking at. So like now it's like, holy hell, I'm all messed up. But thank God iTero's a contact scanner because I can actually get through it, right? Like, come on. A year and a half ago, I purchased an iTero 5D Plus for my practice, and it is amazing in a lot of ways. But there is one thing about it that is driving me insane. And it seems so obvious to me that I'm making this video halfway expecting for someone that watches it to say, oh, this is how you fix it. But I'm not so sure that's going to happen. And honestly, I've looked at older iTero units and they all seem to have this problem. We're going to start with the most basic image capturing device that we use in dentistry for intraoral image capturing. It's an intraoral camera. I can't scan the whole arch at once. I have to get pretty close with the iTero, so I've created this little sticker. I'm not telling it I'm scanning or I'm taking a picture of the upper jaw or the lower jaw. It doesn't change anything about what I'm seeing, so I know that yes, when I rotate 180 degrees, the motion on the screen changes left to right, but not up and down. The tooth comes in from the left side of the screen when I move to the left on the upper, and it comes in from the right side of the screen when I move to the left on the lower. And I think that's what's throwing people off, but in all actuality, it's not that complicated. If I take this mouse and I'm on a desk and I push the mouse away from me, the arrow on the screen is going to go up. If I pull the mouse towards me, the arrow on the screen goes down. If I move it to the left, the arrow goes left, and to the right, it goes right. If I were to take this mouse and turn it upside down and use it on the bottom of the desk, if I push away from me, it still goes up. If I pull towards me, it still goes down. Now, when I go to my left, it is reversed. It would go to the right on the screen. But that's not that hard to understand. You were going to see what iTero does is they actually take the mouse, rotate it 180 degrees, and say good luck. And then when you call them and say, hey, I'm having an issue still, they say, don't worry, dentist. We know you love mirrors. We put in a mirror upper function. So all that does is go like this. Well, that doesn't work either. You'll see exactly what I mean right now. If the end of the camera on this particular wand is also the top of the screen, I'm golden. So we're going to start on the bottom, and instantly there's a problem. Okay? Now I'm going to try my best to get this as centered as possible, but I'll be honest, I'm totally discombobulated. Okay? Now here's why. Is the word lower legible? Yeah, it's legible, but it's rotated 180 degrees. So they took the image and they went bam. Now imagine this. The only way I can make my intraoral camera look this way is if I ripped the monitor off the wall and spun it 180 degrees and remounted it upside down. So that's not very convenient. All of a sudden, all four directions are different. When I go down, what I think it should look like, it looks different. When I go up, what I think it should look like, it looks different. Okay? When I go to one side or the other, it looks the opposite. That's why I'm using two hands and I'm resting my hands on the patient's face to try to get this actually lined up and centered and straight. When you're used to using an intraoral camera and you're forced to use that, it's like you're drunk. Every motion is opposite what you think it'll be. It's not that easy. Why? Because it's different than what I've been used to. But to be clear, what I've been used to is the simplest form of an intraoral image capture device. So it should be the standard upon which all others are based. But let's say somehow I scanned the lower successfully. And quite frankly, the way that's accomplished is because iTero tells you it's a contact scanner. Well, that's convenient when it looks wrong compared to every other piece of technology that you put in the patient's mouth to capture an image. We're going to pretend I got the lower, and we're going to move to the upper. So now let's rotate the wand 180 degrees, and now, oh, thank God, like I'm back in normal territory. Like I can do this one-handed, it looks right. R's legible, the word's legible. So that one I can scan, but I had a problem with the lower. Well, now let's move on to the bite. On the iTero, the back of the throat is the bottom of the screen, and on the intraoral camera, the back of the throat is the top of the screen, which is the same as if I was taking a picture of the lower jaw, which is the same as if I was taking a picture of the upper jaw, which is incredibly convenient. And it should be easy to make all 2D and 3D image capturing devices used in dentistry match that. That's the goal. So watch what happens. It's kind of hard to fit both these cameras in here because the iTero wand is so damn big, but it's because it's a contact scanner, but also probably because it has to be a contact scanner, otherwise nobody could use it. So here's the blue mark on that tooth. Notice it moves opposite what my eyes are used to. The feedback visually of the way the object in the viewfinder moves is opposite to what my brain expects, having 16 years of experience with an intraoral camera and other scanners. So there's got to be a way to fix it. That's not possible that they wouldn't sell any if that was the case, okay? So that's kind of what I thought. So I called them up and I said, hey, what's the problem? And they said, well, the problem, if you go to settings and then you click scan settings and then you have scanning position. Now, that'll be a whole nother video, but scanning position, this thing drives me crazy because I don't know any dentist that actually move positions to scan another arch. 2 reasons. Number 1, I'd break my neck trying to see the screen. Number 2, that ain't convenient to try to move over here. This particular design is wider at the top, side to side, and wider at the bottom, front to back. It's not that simple. You look kind of awkward as you're trying to do it. And in an operatory like ours, it would require sitting the patient up halfway, moving the stuff out of the way. It would just be a pain in the ass. And it's not necessary because remember, at no point with the intraoral camera did I actually feel like somewhat obligated to try to change positions, okay? So it was set to behind. It always starts on the lower. It was set to behind. So let's just try, see what other settings options there are. Well, there's an in front of the patient. Let's try it. And you would think that you could just click in the blue and start scanning, but you can't. You have to click the arrow back and then you click in the blue. You'd think you could start scanning, but you can't. And this is one other thing about user interface. The fact that you have to touch in 2 different areas on the screen, like I click this arrow, I can't just click it again because now the X is down here. Like that sounds so superficial and so like, it sounds like it shouldn't matter. But it's just one of those little things. Things add up, they pile up. And it's another irritation. And it's easily fixable. We're on the bottom. Oh, perfect. That solved it. That solved it. And it solved it by getting the computer to stop arbitrarily rotating the viewer on the lower jaw 180 degrees. Perfect. So I scan the lower, and then it's time for the upper. Let's scan the upper now. I change it to the upper jaw, and damn it, it repeats the exact same thing, except now it's on the upper jaw. I'm starting to believe that the reason they're so committed to somehow modifying the viewfinders is because they're convinced that we are incapable of scanning unless they intervene and rotate our viewfinders 180 degrees. But that's like rotating the mouse 180 degrees. It means the motion you expect in all 4 directions is the opposite of every other intraoral camera you use. So it's very apparent to me what has to happen, but I didn't quite know, so I called iTero and I asked, what's the problem? And they said, no problem, dentist. We know you guys are a little bit strange and you love using mirrors. So we were sick and tired of dentists calling us, complaining about this. So we fixed it by adding an option for you. Now, none of that actually occurred. They didn't actually say that. But I guarantee that's what, well, I can't guarantee it. I am fairly certain that that is what it kind of led to this option here. And here we go. They say go to scan settings and click the box that says mirror viewfinder for the upper. And I thought, well, hell, I'm game. Let's try it. So I left it, remember, it was correct for the lower, so I left in front of because that's what works on the lower. Now I click the only other option, which is mirror viewfinder. And here we go. I have to click both. I almost started scanning, but now I'm on the upper. We did not change the orientation. We just added mirror, and well, that's a problem. The word is backwards. The R is backwards. So this isn't simply a matter of rotating the viewfinder. They actually mirrored it. And I wish all these technology companies would forget about the fact that we use mirrors. There is no situation in which there is a benefit of capturing an image with the capture device actually set to mirror the image itself, unless it is being captured bounced off of a mirror. That is the only way you would avoid having to unmirror it later for it to look correct. And I'll prove it to you. Watch what happens when I scan this. Oh, the software itself unmirrors it, which is really confusing, because the moment you start to actually scan the teeth, it makes the arch go the opposite direction of what you're looking at. So like now it's like, holy hell, I'm all messed up. But thank God iTero is a contact scanner, because I can actually get through it. All right? Like, come on. The solution would be for iTero to create enough options for settings in here that we can choose the scan position per arch and for the bite. Because the moment I can get this thing to never rotate the viewfinder, it will operate exactly like my intraoral camera, which means that whether it's me or my hygienists or my assistants, they could jump onto any of the equipment in my office, the iTero or the intraoral camera or the CEREC OmniCam, and they would be just as good at all of it, which would be pretty exciting and an outstanding service for the patient. The way that OmniCam gets away with it is they have scanning position in front of for lower and behind for upper. But remember, I ain't moving. So it's just what they have to create to fix the problem they created when they started arbitrarily rotating the viewfinder 180 degrees. It's a little bit strange to me that at no point has anybody gone, hey, there's no need to mirror this. We're sticking it in the patient's mouth, right? We're not taking the image through a mirror. And you know what? Let's actually standardize this to the most simple form, which is an intraoral camera. So my hope is that enough of us are able to forward this video to our Invisalign reps, iTero reps, and that we can help institute a very minor, inexpensive modification to the software so that it stops arbitrarily rotating the viewfinder and also stop offering us mirroring options as though they somehow help, because they will never help unless that image is captured through a mirror. Because at the end of the day, it has to be unmirrored. So I am eager to hear back from everybody watching this video. I already know there's going to be a bunch of people who say, well, I've always had an iTero and never had a problem. But if you think that you're one of the people that is perfectly good the way it is right now, I would encourage you to jump from your intraoral camera to the iTero and back and just see how well you do, because it is difficult. And the only reason that that people are able to scan with iTero, I am convinced, without making the changes to the arch form like I did, is either number one, they have no significant experience with an intraoral camera, so they're just not used to that bicycle, or number two, they use the contact scanning as a crutch. And that's the only reasons that I can think of for how it's gone this long. For how when I go to an iTero Element at St. Vincent de Paul, it's got the same damn setting on it. And then my brand new iTero 5D Plus has the same setting. Like, it's unexplainable to me how that is the case, except for those two things. So I appreciate your time. I look forward to your feedback. And as always, have a great day. Believe it or not, I've got the AC off, even though it's been 115 plus every day, and it's July 29th and it's 12:15. So, got to get pumped up here, but stay kind of calm because this is the third time I'm trying to record this video, and every other time I've let my frustration turn to anger, and that's not what I'm trying to accomplish with this video. Okay, I just got a message on my watch, which is a good reminder to set my do not disturb. And also my Adderall alarm is set to 3 hours from now. So if I'm still recording in 3 hours, we got a fucking problem. Okay, I've been recording for a while now, haven't said much. So, I feel like I kind of need to start over. I'm going to shoot for 5 minutes. My hope is that if you agree with this video, and of course at this point my iTero is shutting down, which means I'm going to have to start the whole fucking thing over. You call their office and you say, hey, we're having some issues with this. Here's what I found. Fucking Siri. I don't even know how to fucking do this anymore. This is the third time I've tried to make this video. Every other time I just get angry. I'm trying not to be angry, but it's crazy to me. If I don't change that I'm on the lower, nothing changes. Okay? So just watch this. All right? Here's the problem. This is the problem. I don't even know. I turned off the fucking air conditioner to this place. Fine, whatever. Doesn't have to be a contact scanner. Well, fuck it. I can't include that because that's not exactly true because of the focal distance and focal length. Okay, I know what my problem is. I haven't taken my Adderall.